Now, travelling west along the Solent and up the Beaulieu River, we pass the historic shipyard at Buckler's Hard, where Nelson's first ship, HMS Agamemnon, was built. But beyond that, we reach the jewel in Hampshire's crown, the New Forest. 144 square miles of apparently wild woodland and heath.
Now, when you look at it, you might be forgiven for thinking that the New Forest was very much a natural wonder. But you know, it isn't really. It's certainly a man-made wonder. But man couldn't have done it without a little help from his friends. And the forest wouldn't look at all like this if it wasn't for the New Forest pony.
Since 1848, commoners who live and work in the forest have had the right of common pasture, which enables them to graze their stock on the open forest. The New Forest ponies really are the modern architects of England's newest national park. Roaming freely along with cattle and deer, they continually shape it through their grazing. Officially appointed agisters police the stock and each autumn organise roundups or drifts. Owners and armies of helpers take part, driving the ponies into wooden corrals where they're checked and branded. They remain one of the hardiest ponies in Britain, and 365 days of the year you'll find a horse and rider somewhere on the forest. On this particular day, I've found Nicky Kemp.
Can I ask you a couple of questions about these ponies then?
Yes, certainly.
How long have they been on the forest?
Well, certainly since Norman times, and you know, they say that even previous to that.
And what about size? I mean, your one's a
yeah.
little bit bigger than mine. Come on.
Yes, yeah,
Come on.
yours is about 13 hands and mine's just a little bit bigger. There's no minimum height limit and they go up to 14.2, which is now 148 centimetres.
And they're out all year, so they must be pretty tough, I suppose.
Yes, very tough, very hardy. And of course they have to be to live here in the New Forest. You know, the ponies have adapted to the environment and the environment has adapted to the ponies.
The New Forest has a fascinating history. After the last ice age, it was all bog and scrub. Then came the pioneering tree species, such as pine and birch, and later oak and beech. It was the Stone Age settlers that cleared many of these trees for building and firewood, creating large areas of heath. The acid soil discouraged any agriculture, so it was considered wild wasteland. And it's here that our French connection continues. 1066, the Norman conquest. The Saxon kings had used the New Forest for organised hunts, but the Normans turned hunting into an art form. William the Conqueror enclosed an area twice the size of today's forest. He employed foresters to maintain and control the game, ensuring a well-stocked larder of deer and wild boar. These organised hunts must have been a spectacle. Professional huntsmen with deer hounds would herd the deer towards nets.
Over the last 1,000 years, there's been a very delicate balance between the grazing and the forestry here in the forest. And just over here is a perfect example of that. You see, this giant great beech tree simply wouldn't be here if it weren't for management techniques like that.
It's been pollarded, which means the branches have been repeatedly cut above the reach of browsing animals. Each regrowth gives the commoners valuable firewood and prolongs the tree's life. Some of these giants are more than 500 years old. This continued management has led to a whole range of fabulous habitats, which means it's one of the very best places in the UK for wildlife. And there are still places that echo with the sights and sounds of a Norman hunting forest.